So the French Open done and dusted for another year, and some crazy finals to finish the tournament, but also some crazy results through the tournament. Let's go have a look at the rankings because a lot changed over the last couple of weeks during this tournament with a lot of points up for grabs. First, we'll start with who won last week though. We're taking a look at who won last week, of course. On the women's side, Coco Gauff lifting her second Grand Slam trophy, beating Sabalenka in the finals 6-7, 6-2, 6-4. And on the men's side, Alcaraz taking out Sinner in an epic 5-setter, 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 to lift his fifth Grand Slam trophy. So the number twos beating the number ones in the ranking in the Grand Slam finals this week. Let's go have a look at the players outside the top 10 that got a boost in the rankings because there were some big players, or some big names that did really well. Bublik having a great run at the French Open. He went up 19 spots, number 43 in the world. Boison, she goes up to 65 in the world, a career high for her, and she's also the number one French woman in the rankings on the WTA. She went up 296 spots from before the tournament. And Boko came through the qualies, went up 30 spots to number 90 in the world, and she's at a career high as well. Players that went down in the rankings, Tsitsipas. He went down 6 spots to number 26 in the world after losing points from the quarterfinals last year. Jabeur, she went down 18 spots, number 54 in the world. And Vondrousova, she went down 69 spots to 165 in the world. So players there that did really well last year and made the second week. Didn't do as well this year and dropped in the rankings, but some real new names who went up the rankings this week. Let's start with the WTA now, and there were some massive changes, of course. No change at the top with Sabalenka at 1 and Gauff at 2, Pegula at 3 and Paolini at 4. But Swiatek dropping down the rankings again after failing to defend the points from the French Open win from last year. She goes down a couple of spots and Zhang goes up 2 spots into number 5. Andreeva stays there in number 6 with Swiatek going to 7. Keys stays at number 8. But down the bottom we had Navarro. She dropped down, making way for Badosa, who goes up to number 9. And Navarro rounds at the top 10. So no massive changes besides the Swiatek change. But you can see there with the points between 4 and 8. There's only about 400 points between them. So it's going to be really interesting over the next couple of weeks and during Wimbledon how many changes we actually get, because in about a month's time, this could look a lot different. Looking at the race of the finals now, and no change at the top with Sabalenka at 1. But we did have a change at second spot with Gauff going up to number 2, pushing Keys down to number 3. Swiatek stays at 4, and Andreeva goes down to number 5. Pegula, she stays at 6 with Paolini at 7. Rybakina at 8. Svitolina at 9. But Navarro, she drops out of the top 10, making way for Alexandrova. So, again, no major changes, I guess, or not many changes. There were some big changes, of course, with Gauff, but not many changes to the top 10 race to finals, but it's starting to take a lot of shape. And we're going to expect that a lot of the players that are already in the race to finals now should make it to the end of the year if they're healthy. Over on the men's rankings now, and there was no change at the top with Jannik Sinner staying at 1 and Alcaraz at 2. And Zverev stays at number 3. But Taylor Fritz, he dropped down number 7 after having a poor result, losing in the first round at Roland Garros, meaning that Draper went up to number 4, Djokovic went up to number 5, and Musetti went up to number 6. And that's career high rankings for both Draper and Musetti. Paul goes up 4 spots to number 8, which is a career high for him. Rune goes up 1 spot to number 9. Demonor drops down to 10. And Ruud, he drops out of the top 10 completely after losing the points from last year's semifinals. So really disappointing there for Ruud. And he's also got an injury, so hopefully he can play soon. But some players there in the top 10 getting to career high rankings, which is really fun to see. Look at the race to the finals, and there was no change at the top with Alcaraz at 1 and Sinner at 2. Zverev stays at 3 with Draper at 4. But there was a change in the middle with Musetti going up to number 5, Djokovic going up to number 6. Ruud went down to number 7 because he didn't do as well as those other guys. Paul goes into number 8, 5 spots higher than last week, pushing Demonor down to number 9. Rune jumps back in the top 10, and Cerundolo and Mensik drop out completely. So, again, just like on the women's side, we're starting to see a bit of a shape to the ATP Finals and a lot of, familiar names that we're going to see, or that we have seen over the last couple of years in the ATP Finals. And with Wimbledon just around the corner, expect it to take even more shape with those 2,000 points. So there it is, lot to cover this week because, of course, post-Grand Slams, the rankings, so much changes. But let me know in the comments below, what is the most exciting part of Roland Garros this year? Was it the 2 finals being so epic with the 1v2? That hadn't happened at Roland Garros since the mid-80s, that we had the 1 and 2 in the men and women's playing each other in the finals, and the number 2's won, which is kind of crazy as well. And of course, that Sinkeraz match, we're going to remember that one forever. But the Gauff-Sabalenka match also was memorable on its own, for its own reasons. There it is, they're the rankings for this week, and post-French Open, things are starting to take some shape.